हमेशा जिंदगी इस तरह बसर करो कि देखने वाले तुम्हारे दर्द पर अफसोस की बजाय तुम्हारे सब्र पर रश्क करें। अगर इबादत नहीं कर सकते तो गुनाह भी ना करो।
Keep watching Toronto 360 TV with Sabir Gaya.
Assalamu alaikum, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to the meet and greet with Stephen Duca. That's been organized courtesy of Dr. Rabiya Azim and the team here in Milton today at our home. Stephen is contesting for the Ontario Liberal Party's leadership. As we all know that Liberal Party in Ontario, which is called Ontario Liberal Party, is going through the overhaul and rejig as we talk about it, and needs the leadership that is strong and steady hands. And Stephen, as we know, has been there from the grassroots level up, developing through the party's ranks, and now has already got experience as multiple ministries, including infrastructure and transportation, as is a worthy candidate out there to overall this party. As we know, there are other contestants as well. The March, we have got this convention going, Ontario Liberal Party is going through, and we wish Stephen and the team the best of luck with the leadership race there. And that's why we have got this event today as well, provide an opportunity for the community to get to know more about Stephen's program, what he stands for, what he's been involved in, and what his vision for Ontario to rebuild this great province of ours where we live, and this great community of Milton where we live, and to provide it with the resources and the infrastructure that is much desirable and needed with regards to the growth that we have seen from immigration and the population explosion, as we call it, in this particular community, the fastest growing community in Milton, as we know, not only in Ontario but in Canada. So we're looking forward to steady hands and the leadership that Ontario Liberal Party can provide for the wishes and desires of diversity and for also integration of the our community into the mainstream society, and provide that platform that, as we know, that in many candidates has already run through in the previous election as well, from the South Asian community and other immigrant community as part of the Liberal Party's platform, is part of their vision to include and to be inclusive and to provide the diversity in terms of like the team that they bring forward. And we wish them the best with providing that kind of like platform for all these immigrant candidates moving forward as well. And I'm confident that Stephen, being an immigrant himself and coming from a family of immigrants, also is going to be looking forward to have a diverse team, including not only the diversity in terms of different communities and diaspora, but also the women and the youth as part of his team. Wishing him all the best with this platform, and wishing him all the best today to meet with all the team and the great people that we have, that we had been getting a support from the community, not only in my personal campaign in the as a federal candidate in 2015 and onwards, but always been there to for the cause of the community and making Milton a stronger and best community out there in Canada. All the best, and welcome to Milton, Stephen.
Yes, my name is Christopher Hadley, and I'm here to support Stephen Del Duca in his bid for the Ontario Liberal Party leadership. The reason for my support for Stephen Del Duca is his position on education. As a teacher here in the province, I enjoy the fact that Stephen feels that education is an investment for our children and not a cost. It's not a business. It's not something to be taken lightly. And I think Stephen understands that and supports our teachers and our students in investing in Ontario's education.
First of all, I would like to introduce myself to you for the benefits of those who do not know me. My name is Mahmoud Khan, and I am living in Canada since 1967. And I know Mr. Stevenson. Not very long, he came to me and asked for this help. And I said, I will find it out what kind of person you are, then I will commit myself. And I found that he is the right man. That's why I am supporting him. And I hope he will be a great premier for Ontario. And I request all the Pakistanis and all the Indians and all the people to help him out and make him a premier.
Hello, my name is Kinderpal Sidhu. I am living in Milton almost 15 years. I am here to support Stephen Del Duca for his provincial leadership, and I hope he will succeed his nomination, and he will be a good premier and can fight for Ontarians. Thank you.
Keep watching Toronto 360.
Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome all. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming on this Saturday afternoon, and you took time from your busy schedule. I'm very thankful from the bottom of my heart. And as you can see, everybody is here to support the Provincial Liberal Party once again. The guest we have today is, he does not need any introduction because all of us who are involved in the political system here have seen him as a very hard working member of the Liberal Party for over now almost 30 years. And I first met him in the campaign of the provincial election 2014 once he came to Milton riding to support the local campaign here. At that time he was the Minister of Transport. And as usual, I asked him some blunt questions, and he was very honest and addressed them fairly. He did not sugarcoat anything. Since that day, he earned my respect, and I could feel that he will be a leader or a premium one day in Ontario.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, friends. I am so deeply honored to be here this afternoon, to be back in Milton, and to look out at an audience to see so many new friends, for sure, but most importantly, lots of familiar friends, women and men that I've had the chance to meet and been very, very honored to meet over the course of the last 12 months on this leadership journey that I have been embarked upon. And of course, I want to begin by thanking Rabiya and Azim for their support and also for inviting me into their lovely, all of us, into their lovely home this afternoon for this discussion. And Rabiya is right. I can actually still recall that very first time we met in 2014. I'm not going to suggest I still have the scars from all of her tough questions, but it's entirely possible that that's the case. All kidding aside, I was very struck in that moment by the kind of passion and the sense that she had as it relates to making sure that our fastest growing communities, including Milton and Brampton and Mississauga and Vaughan and so many more, have the kinds of investments that they need to grow in the right way, and that communities feel like they have governments both locally and regionally, provincially and nationally that are truly on their side. So to Rabiya and to Azim, I want to thank you so much for your support and your friendship and for having us here today. I also want to acknowledge we're here today with my dear friend. She's shaking her head at me right now, but Harinder Mali and I served in the legislature together. Harinder was the MPP for Brampton and a cabinet colleague. And I will also say that Harinder, not only is a dear friend, she's also someone who was never at all concerned about making sure that her community, Brampton and others, were represented at the centers of power. I want to thank you, Harinder, for being here and for your support. So I have been on this campaign journey now for just a little bit more than 12 months. And I will talk in just a second about the issues and the ideas that are most important to me in terms of the values that are at the very foundation of why I'm running. But there's something that I want to say just for a quick second about what the rest of this journey looks like. Not just for me, but for all of the candidates who are running. So in 2 weeks from this weekend, on February 8th and 9th, in every riding across Ontario, Liberal members who are eligible to vote, including many of you here in this room, will have the chance to cast a ballot directly for leader, and then, of course, to choose the 16 women and men who will go to the convention in Mississauga on March the 6th and 7th in order to cast the ultimate ballot, choose our new leader, and then we can emerge from that convention united and ready to take on Doug Ford and win. That actually permits young women and men to go as far in life as their talent and their effort will take them, and not simply as far as their bank account will take them. We need to win the next election and move forward in the right way. If you believe in fast-growing communities like Milton, like Brampton, like Mississauga, like Vaughan, that the people who live in this province deserve health care, that actually means they're getting the care they need, that they're at the center of the decision-making process, and that their government at Queen's Park is not ignoring their health care crisis, then we need to be Doug Ford and get the province moving in the right direction. If you know in your heart that Milton needs to have more GO train service, if you know in your heart that we need to continue to invest in highways and widen those highways where and when it makes sense. If you know, as I said a second ago, that we need a real plan to confront the climate emergency, that's not simply a problem for Ontario, but is a problem for the world. Most importantly, if you believe in an economy like I do, where we create prosperity collectively because we support our entrepreneurs, and when those entrepreneurs are successful, we celebrate and honor their success. But when we as Ontarians create that prosperity, it's broadly shared. So nobody's left behind. If you believe in those things and so much more, if you are focused like I am on progress, then you know we need to win the next election. It is a necessary precondition to get Doug Ford out of office. Ontario Liberals can get that job done. With your help, we will get it done. In every corner of this province as I've toured, and I promise I'll stop talking shortly. I talk a lot, eh, ready? So, in every corner of this province I have been asked by almost every Liberal that I've met, why are you running? Why do you think you're the best person for the job? Let me just say there are 6 people running in this race. I know the other 5. 2 of the other 5 I served with in the legislature. The other ones that I didn't serve with, I've gotten to know over the course of this leadership campaign. I said earlier I've been in the party for a long time. Can I just tell each and every one of you, we are truly blessed as Ontario Liberals because the field of candidates running is absolutely outstanding. I am a competitive person, and so yes, of course, I want to win this leadership campaign, and I'll keep working hard to do so. But for me, the most important thing is that we come through the convention itself, and that we are united as a political family. That regardless of who wins, and I say this openly, publicly, and on the record, regardless of who wins, because winning the next election so that we can deliver a better Ontario is the critical thing, I will serve alongside the new leader if it's not me. I will do whatever I can do. It's what I've done for 31 years. If for whatever reason in its wisdom our party chooses someone else, I'm not going anywhere. But I guarantee Doug Ford's going to go somewhere, and it's not to another election win. Why am I running in this race? It's pretty easy for me. It's pretty straightforward. My wife and I are raising 2 young kids at home. Our daughters are 12 and 8. I think about our 12-year-old daughter in particular. Actually, I think about them both all the time, but to stop Doug Ford from winning a majority. We had conceded the election. They had a golden opportunity to prove it could be done. And they failed. So not just within the Liberal Party, but as you're talking to friends and family who might not be as focused on politics as we are, remind them that only an energized, refocused, rebuilt, and above all else, united Ontario Liberal Party can stop Doug Ford, and that's what I'm in this for. Let's get our province back on track. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Keep watching Toronto 360.
First of all, I'm thankful to my daughter. She invited me to come over here. She did not invite me, she sent somebody to bring me to this meeting. I have been in the union all my life. 34 and a half years constantly I was, representing. And I know a little bit about politics. When Mr. Stephen came to my house, I asked many questions. And we were over 1 year, 1 hour.
It felt like 1 year.
1 year ago, 1 hour. We had been talking and I asked many questions. Now I'm going to tell you why I promised to him that I'm going to support him. Don't call me brown nose because alhamdulillah I'm brown all over. Thing is that there was 3 questions in which he gave 3 answers. First one was, why you are running? He said already in his speech, he wants to serve the people. And he feels that he can do the job. As far as myself is concerned, the people who know me, I am not going to support based on religion, based on nationality, based on color, or anything else. I have to see if a person is right for the right job. Because if a person is not a right person for the job, he is going to give disgrace to the nation and to the religion and to all the community. Therefore, it is important for us to help a person who can do the job. Thing is that, first of all, I asked him, I said, there are few people in Oakville, you have to talk to them, and then I will give you my position, which he did, that we have to win this election. And another thing what he said, if I will not make, anybody who will make, I will 100% support. That's a great spirit. And I'm saying, you need not to support anybody else, you support yourself. Because you are going to win, inshallah. So I am just saying that please do everything to bring the people to the polling station. And there is no doubt in my mind that he will be successful. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Kinderpal. I live in Milton since 15 years. So first time I met Stephen, through Rabiya and Azim. And I like to wish him all the best in his election. And I think he will be a good premier and fight for all the Ukrainians, for their rights. And I like to wish all the best and all the success we need. And all we have to support him. Thank you very much.
Not this time, other time, try to get out of this exploitation. Literally it is. You know, it is. Yes, I know that. That's why I'm saying restore the sovereignty of the Canada. You cannot even ask for the agreement to read. You cannot ask. It is not so transparent. Maybe the transportation minister, he must have read it. But
So I'm happy to respond to that question and then take any others if there are more in the room. So, and I appreciate that. Again, thank you, Mr. Khan, thank you, Mr. Naqvi, for being here and for the question in particular. So for those who, and I look out of this room and I'm pretty sure everybody is familiar with the story, but just very, very quickly, think back to 1995. Mike Harris and the Conservatives came back to power, and there's a reason I'm telling the story this way, because it's sort of like what you're witnessing today at Queen's Park is almost like the sequel to the original movie. And I learned a long time ago the sequel is almost always worse than the original, right? But in 1995, Mike Harris and Ernie Eves and that government came to power. And previous governments had started to construct the 407 ETR, as Mr. Naqvi mentioned. Mike Harris that same year told the people of Ontario that he could cut their taxes by 30%, and that he could clean up social assistance, and that he could do a whole bunch of other things to get government out of their face, and he could do it all and balance the books in 4 years, because there was a deficit that existed. And then in 1998, 1 year before the next election, there was still a deficit in Ontario. And the people, we, owned the 407. Our money had built it. And Mike Harris, because...
I know you espouse your views on the environment and protecting the environment, climate change. I'm an environmental science teacher,
Great.
And educator. The Lorax. I speak for the trees.
I speak for the trees.
Trees have no tongue. Our children, our most vulnerable children, have no tongues yet. Could you enlighten us a little bit more on your views as far as environmental education moving forward in the 21st century?
Yeah, of course. Thanks very much, Chris, for the question. So just actually a few days ago, I put out, and when you talk about the environment, I think, and I think everyone here would agree, the number one challenge we face in the environment, of course, is confronting the climate emergency that we have, both here locally and generally speaking, although there are other things that we need to do to protect the clean air and the clean water that we do have in this province. But on the climate crisis, Just a few days ago, I put out some policy ideas that have gained a little bit of traction. So you mentioned the Lorax, one of my favorite proposals in my plan. You might all recall that the federal government, Ontario at that time, provided an incentive to customers that wanted to switch from a fossil fuel burning car to an electric car. So we benefited from that, not just for the vehicle, but also for the home-based charging infrastructure we have in our garage. So we got a little bit of money back in order to make that purchase. Doug Ford becomes premier, cuts it right away.
बेहतरीन लोग बेहतरीन नीयत रखते हैं, जिसकी वजह से अल्लाह उनके तमाम कामों को संवार देता है, और जिसके काम को अल्लाह संवारते तो कोई उसे कैसे बिगाड़ सकता है। मौत को याद रखना नफ्स की तमाम बीमारियों का इलाज है।
Toronto 360 TV, best channel in Canada. One of the best channels in Canada. In fact, they're all great channels.
Are you looking to buy or sell a business? Searching for a franchise or looking for a hotel, motel, strip plaza, or gas station to buy? Our certified professional team and certified franchise consultant are ready to help you, who represent more than 400 branches in North America. Call us today at 416-300-5600 or text us your email and contact details on this number and our team will contact you. 416-300-5600.
हमारा मानना है कि खानों से सिर्फ सेहत ही नहीं, रिश्ते भी बनते हैं। महसूस कीजिए देसी खानों की ताज़ा महक। विलेज टेस्ट, द ट्रू ट्रेडिशनल पाकिस्तानी cuisine, जहां ना सिर्फ पाकिस्तानी रिवायती कढ़ाई और वीकेंड ब्रेकफास्ट एंड डिनर बफे होता है, बल्कि विलेज का माहौल भी है। तजुर्बेकार पाकिस्तानी शेफ की बनाई हुई स्पेशल कढ़ाई और बारबेक्यू। एक बार पाकिस्तान के रिवायती खानों का मजा लेने जरूर आइए। पार्टीज और केटरिंग के स्पेशल पैकेजेस के लिए राब्ता करें 905-232-3663। Village Taste, 4141 Dixie Road, Mississauga.
Dixie Electronics and Appliances is your #1 destination for electronics and appliances. Choose from TVs and home audio that will entertain your whole family, to home comfort essentials for your living space, and a wide selection of appliances to build your perfect kitchen. From selection to delivery, Dixie Electronics is everything you need. Price match guarantee and 0% financing available, all under one roof. Come today at 5120 Dixie Road, Mississauga, or visit the website at dixieelectronics.ca.
Muslim Welfare Center. Service to humanity is service to Allah.
Delicious Pakistani cuisine awaits you at SK Grill and Chill restaurant, located in the heart of Mississauga. Enjoy the 100% halal food at affordable prices that reminds you the taste of Pakistan. Fresh barbecue, paratha roll, chicken and beef biryani, fried chicken and burger specials. Open 7 days a week. Special packages for catering available. SK Grill and Chill. Come experience the taste, which is out of this world, at 812 Britannia Road West in Mississauga.
Are you planning on buying, selling, or investing in real estate and looking for a reliable real estate broker? Then look no further. Call Noma today. List your home and start packing. Honest, reliable, and a top negotiator. Give your attention to Noma. Over 10 years of Canadian real estate market experience. Invest in new construction projects with day one price. Call Noma Bobber today at 647-962-0007.
इंसान को बोलना सीखने में 2 साल लगते हैं, लेकिन कौन सा लफ्ज कहां बोलना है, यह सीखने में पूरी जिंदगी गुजर जाती है। खाली पेट, खाली जेब और झूठा प्यार इंसान को जिंदगी में वो सबक सिखाता है जो बड़े से बड़ा उस्ताद भी नहीं सिखा सकता।
Keep watching Toronto 360 TV with Sabir Gaya.
To work together, and it's a long-term planning decision. So it's partially a statement, partially a question, asking that keep in mind that Milton is different than other municipalities in Ontario based on our growth. That we kind of are looking at that one school a year just to meet the students. So any comments?
Sure, absolutely.
About that.
Thanks very much, Councillor. Great, good to see you here. It's a great question, and I think there's no doubt that Queen's Park, when we were there, was aware of the kind of growth that was taking place and was projected to continue to take place in communities like Milton. I think it does speak to how government, sometimes despite its best efforts, can't always necessarily plan in the cycles or the waves that, Rick, you're talking about. But so for sure, and I say this as someone who, again, has young kids in the system, for sure, I can't imagine having 60 portables at growing communities. But there was also something to be said for, let's make sure we remind our neighbors it's important to vote in a way that will be electing a government that will be consistent with the values that place an emphasis on education and on healthcare and on transit needs and on more for communities like Milton. And Milton, we were proud to support, like we were for Brampton, needs a university campus. Let me also say that as well. Thank you very much.
My second question is regarding your ideas about the CN Railway. They are making a huge go down here, and they are bent upon it. The
funding, including for OSAP, including for college and university, that will help the students going forward. But there's no doubt about the fact that the students, the group, the cohort of students going through the system today, if you started in first year or last year or the year before, your entire undergraduate career of those 4 years will be far less affordable and far less accessible. That's why it's important to remind voters that elections have consequences and that voting for the wrong party has consequences. Some indirect ways that in theory Queen's Park could make life more difficult for CN, but it's indirect and it's not a direct way to sort of stop the intermodal outright.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the best for that.
I think Gulmesh, do you want to say something?
Thank you, everybody. I don't have any questions. Really.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I just have
I'm just teasing.
suggestions.
Yes.
There are 3 things which are a tripod of the life: health, transportation, education. Everywhere population is going up, are all 3 or 4 cities which will give us a good health. And thank you for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
First of all, Assalamu alaikum, Sat Sri Akal, Namaste to everybody who's here from a multicultural bouquet of Milton as it represents today. As you can see it, our Sikh community that is very vibrant here, as you know. All the Muslim community, including the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, very vibrant, obviously, across the Ontario, especially in your jurisdiction in Vaughan and Milton as well. And other active diaspora, as you see. Milton, which appeals, it's actually the way I see it through my own experience in my own campaign, it represents Canada. And if you really want to test out a model, you want to really kind of work on something for Canada, you can definitely find a place in Milton to do it for everybody. So I think whether it's in education, you talked about university campus in Milton, Brampton, Markham, which was cancelled unfortunately, but that for government, we already had over $90 million of funding approved for the planning for a campus over here, which was long awaited, and our friend from municipal jurisdiction and others can obviously vouch for that. That's one of the biggest issues that I even definitely supported, because our own kids also just going to university this year starting. It was close to home. just like a school in the backyard, as you know, and you can see those, obviously, portables there, which Rick was talking about. So we need actually a lot of support in Ontario, and that's what I learned in my campaign. The day we committed as federal Liberals in 2015 campaign that we're gonna double the infrastructure investment to $130 billion. I told to my colleagues from the Halton community that were nominated candidates alongside with me standing that we're gonna win this election, and we're gonna not only win that election in 2015, we're gonna win the majority. And everybody questioned me at that time, how could you say that? And I told them, you know what, working in communities like Milton, Halton, and across, one thing I've learned even as part of my business, my community service, and the political journey is that the Canadians want truth and honesty right in your face. Canadians don't want to have over-promises and under-delivery. This is a recipe for failure that we're seeing the current government in Ontario going through again. That's what we are actually looking forward to kind of see in the future from Ontario Liberals, and I think Stephen talked again and again about that, and that's where I can support definitely Shahid Bhai in saying that I can pass the good news to you, that obviously not only more than half the job is done by Doug Ford, but I think still we need to do a job to make sure that every vote counts, having through an election campaign myself and through your support, and we just virtually lost by a very narrow margin in this very riding, and you know that, every vote counts from that. And then again we delivered this baby through the support of this, obviously, diaspora from all across communities. It is not about a candidate. I think it's an engagement at the grassroots level that our campaign started 2015 and other communities as well as Liberals, and that kind of transpired into a movement which led to, again, almost like a majority government, this time in federal space. I think we can bring this baby home. As you can see in Ontario, that made the difference in the elections federally as well. And definitely there was a Doug Ford factor. There's already a resentment based on not because a person, I would not pick up on anybody personally, but it's because of the policies. Especially once you promise that you're not going to lose a single job in Ontario, and the very start of it, you start with all these kind of like education cut, the healthcare cuts and services cut. How are you going to save money? I mean, once you can't overpromise and then obviously underdeliver. And that's what Ontarians is sick and tired of, I think. And that's where Stephen's leadership, we need a steady hand. We definitely wanted to make sure that he comes in over, has speak with every one of them, every one of the actually people who are not only just the faces that you see. Each one is a community leader. They're the people, they're the team captains from my campaign, and over the years have supported us in this community, not only in a political venture, but they're social activists. That's what I believe in. That's what attracted me into politics. That's why I think each one and every one of you is here for, including Harinder. I mean, I got a deep regard and respect not only for her, for father who couldn't make it today, but we spoke. I was there door knocking even her campaign myself, and along with Mr. Qadri's, which was there. We have got also a couple of candidates I want to acknowledge. I think we don't want to miss them. Mazhar Shafiq from Scarborough Centre, who contested provincially last time around, and also our good friend from Erie Mills, Mississauga Erie Mills, Imran Mia. Imran, if you're around, please wave. And Hifza Musa, who contested and is equally respectful when somebody raises a hand, and especially being a woman, I praise you because I know how hard it is with the kids and the priorities and everything. And Harinder as well, by the same token, like you take time out of the family, you still got the responsibility, you can't like shy away from it. But thank you for doing what you're doing to make this province and these communities there where we live a better Canada, that we can say always the best country in the world. And that's what we're looking forward to, having a best community like Milton, Brampton, Mississauga, Ontario, and Canada. And as I said, like environmental leadership is not limited to only just a province. It's not a jurisdiction. It's a matter of a generational change. That's where our kids are fighting for. That's where the leadership, like, obviously, I also drive a green vehicle. And thank you to Ontario Liberals, I did get a $15,000 rebate back then. And definitely that makes the difference because it directs people towards the responsible citizenship. Responsibility comes in over with obviously a lot of those elements whereby we need to take the bull by the horns and we got to be honest to our constituents. So thank you for like taking that approach, and you're going to definitely get the support from the people, not because what ultimately what you say, but ultimately what you stand for the last 30 years. You have come from the grassroots level. That gives us definitely the comfort and the confidence saying that definitely is a candidate who has a steady hand on the wheel, has done it before, can take it, has the vision that resonates with the vision of this community and the society, and is going to deliver Ontario from all the kind of fiasco that is going on, unfortunately, that we see, and that is already eroding the values and the systems that we just like heard from our elders here. So thank you very much for taking the leadership. We are here to support you. Definitely each and every one of them. The community members here are going to be definitely behind it. And I really thank each and every one of them for being here and supporting actually this event.
This is Irfan Malik from Toronto 360. We are with Stephen Del Duca. We have interviewed him before it also. But Steve, we stand for you. You know it very well.
Thank you.
And especially Toronto 360 stands for you.
Thank you.
So don't forget Toronto 360 when you become premier.
Thank you so much.
So I want you to say a few things.
Well, I'm delighted to be here with my dear friend Irfan Malik and to be here in Milton again in a very fast-growing community surrounded by dozens and dozens of Liberal supporters who simply want to make sure that we have a government at Queen's Park that's once again investing in public health care, in public education, in a real plan to fight the climate crisis, and in the kind of economy that we can all respect. And it's always great to have the chance to spend some time with my friends at Toronto 360. I look forward to the rest of this campaign. I'm going to keep working very, very hard. And I look forward to being back in Milton again very, very soon. Thank you so much.
But why the government is not looking after this, the traffic, even on the 401 between Iron Mills and Mavis? Still construction going on. It's almost 3 years.
Well, it's a very big construction project. It's one of the largest highways in the country, and there's a lot of volume and a lot of traffic on it. And so the construction project takes time. There's no way to do construction any quicker than we already do, especially when you have a winter climate that you have to deal with. So we invest hundreds of millions of dollars every single year in our highway infrastructure. And yes, we need more in the right places, but the situation's not going to get better if we don't actually do the construction. So it's hard for people, including me, where I live in Vaughan, to deal with the construction when it's happening, but we won't get the outcome unless there's actually... So the 401 is one of dozens and dozens of highways. I know it's important, but there are literally billions of dollars worth of construction projects that occur all across Ontario, and Queen's Park needs to govern the entire province. So yes, we need the proper highways in Mississauga and in the GTA, but there are highways in the north, the southwest, the east that we are constantly investing in. So it's not easy, and I know that it requires patience on the part of motorists, but I was the Minister of Transportation for 3 years, and MTO does invest $2 to $3 billion every year in highways across the province. So just a little more patience, and I'm sure that we're going to get it right. But I am a big believer in investing more in transportation. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Sabir bhai. We are here कि आज यहाँ पे मिल्टन में रबिया और अजीम रिजवी जो हैं उन्होंने अपने घर में एक गेट टुगेदर रखी हुई थी जो कैंडिडेट हैं हमारी लीडरशिप के ओएलपी इंटेरियो लिबरल पार्टी के स्टीवन डेल डूका के आज़ाज़ में, जिसमें कम्युनिटी की बहुत बड़ी तादाद में शिरकत की। उनके जो डेलीगेट थे वो और मेंबर्स जो थे वो ज़्यादातर वो मौजूद थे, और स्टीवन ने उस और अपना जो विजन है उनका ओंटारियो के लिए उसके बारे में काफ़ी लंबी डिस्कशन क्वेश्चन आंसर भी हुए। एंड इट्स वेरी कंफर्टिंग टू सी के स्टीवन डेल डूका जैसे लोग जिनका विजन लीडरशिप जिनका मेयार ही हार्ड वर्किंग के ऊपर है, जो उनका मेयार ऑनेस्टी के ऊपर है, सिंसियरिटी के ऊपर है, तो ऐसी लीडरशिप को जो है वो हम सब सपोर्ट कर भी रहे हैं और करना चाहिए भी, क्योंकि हम देख रहे हैं कि इस वक्त जो डग फोर्ड और उनके जो दोस्त हैं अभी आप बाहर निकले तो टीचर स्ट्राइक है, हेल्थ कट्स हैं और एजुकेशन में बहुत ट्रबल्स है। तो इस सारे मामला को आई थिंक नई लीडरशिप की तादाद है, तो वी विश ऑल द बेस्ट टू स्टीवन डेल डूका एंड थैंक यू राबिया।
ओंटारियो लिबरल की लीडरशिप के उम्मीदवार स्टीवन डेल डूका आज यहाँ मौजूद थे। अजीम रिजवी साहब और डॉक्टर राबिया साहबा हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। आज के प्रोग्राम के बारे में कुछ बताएंगे डॉक्टर साहब?
थैंक यू वेरी मच अरशद भाई, आप आए और आपने सपोर्ट किया, हमेशा आपके बहुत मोहब्बत है। ओंटारियो के अंदर आपको पता है कि इस वक्त जो गवर्नमेंट चल रही है वो किसी भी हवाले से पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट में कोई उसको फ़ायदा नहीं हो रहा, और हर वक्त जो है वो हम देखते हैं कि फ्रस्ट्रेशन है, हेल्थ केयर हो या फिर एजुकेशन का सेगमेंट हो। तो हमें कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि वो गवर्नमेंट जो कि पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट के लिए बेहतर हो उसको सपोर्ट करें, और आई थिंक राइट नाउ जो ऑप्शंस हैं उनमें सबसे बेहतर ऑफ कोर्स लिबरल पार्टी की पॉलिसीज़ हैं। तो इसलिए हमने जो है वो पूरी तरह से वी आर लिबरल्स but based on the policies we thought that we should start supporting the Liberal campaign in the Ontario so that we can bring back the Liberals in the power and hopefully जो ये इस वक्त टर्मोइल चल रहा है इससे निजात मिलेगी। तो इसी सिलसिले में आज हमने स्टीवन डेल डूका जो कि प्रोविंशियल पार्टी के लिए लीडरशिप के कैंडिडेट हैं उनको यहाँ इनवाइट किया था, और माशाल्लाह आप और सब दोस्तों ने उनको अपनी सपोर्ट का यकीन दिलाया। मैं आप सबकी शुक्रगुजार।
अजीम साहब, फेडरली तो यहाँ पे अब मिल्टन में जो है लिबरल की सीट है, लेकिन प्रोविंशियली यहाँ पे कंजर्वेटिव की सीट है। तो क्या आप देख रहे हैं लिबरल की यहाँ पे आने वाले इलेक्शन में, अगर स्टीवन डेल डूका बनते हैं तो ये बेहतर होगा बाकी लोगों की निस्बत?
जी, सबसे पहले शुक्रिया आपका टोरंटो 360 का, हमेशा आपकी मोहब्बत सपोर्ट रही है एंड वहाँ पर भी शुक्रिया अदा करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन यहाँ पर मैं आपको दोबारा बिलमुशाफे करना चाहूँगा साबिर साहब को और आपको स्पेशल अर्शद भाई। मेन चीज़ यही है कि जैसे डॉक्टर राबिया ने कहा, और शी इज़ द वन हु इज़ टेकिंग द लीड ऑन दिस वन, स्पेशली आई वुड लाइक टू डेफिनेटली रिकॉग्नाइज हर एंड द टीम हु इज़ बीन काइंड ऑफ पुटिंग दिस इवेंट टुगेदर। उसमें बहुत से दोस्त शामिल हैं जिनका नाम भी इन्होंने लिया, डार साहब हैं, दूसरे लोग हैं, किसी को एक को मैं आइडेंटिफाई करूँगा तो ज़्यादती होगी सबके साथ, लेकिन ये वही टीम है कि जिसने हमें 2015 में फेडरल में भी सपोर्ट किया, माशाल्लाह पूरे हमारे हरावल दस्ते के तौर पे काम किया और ग्रास रूट लेवल पे एक मूवमेंट शुरू की कि जिसके नतीजे में ना सिर्फ मिल्टन राइडिंग के अंदर बल्कि पूरे GTA के अंदर और बियॉन्ड पूरी एथनिक कम्युनिटी जो है, इंक्लूडिंग पाकिस्तानी मुस्लिम्स और अदरवाइज एवरीबॉडी गॉट एनर्जाइज्ड, और उसका नतीजा हमने देखा कि हम मेजॉरिटी गवर्नमेंट भी मिली 2015 में फेडरल लिबरल्स को, और उसके बाद फिर प्रोविंशियली भी हम ओबियसली अच्छे चलते रहे, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली देयर वर सर्टेन पॉलिसी डिसीजन जिसका कि डेफिनेटली जब भी आप गवर्नमेंट में होते हैं तो आप कुछ चीज़ों को आप डिस्कनेक्टेड होते हैं ग्राउंड रियलिटी से, जिसका खुमियाजा भुगतना पड़ा हमें, और आई थिंक देयर वाज अ लीडरशिप क्राइसिस जिसकी वजह से हमें वर्चुअली इलेक्शन कंसीड करना पड़ा प्रोविंशियली। उसके बाद जो है हमने देखा है कि जो फेडरल इलेक्शन का रिजल्ट आया है लास्ट ईयर, वो बहुत ही हमारे नज़दीक हौसला अफजा है, और वो इस चीज़ के कबाजी करता है कि जो प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट जो है डकफोर्ड की इस वक्त जो पॉलिसीज़ उन्होंने रवा रखी हैं वो लोगों के मफाद में नहीं है, क्योंकि द पीपल थिंक अबाउट लाइक ऑनेस्टी फर्स्ट। मैंने पहले भी बात की कि अगर आप जो भी पॉलिसीज हों, अगर आप उनके साथ उनका अनाउंस करते हैं फिर उसके बाद स्टिक करते हैं, यू डोंट ओवर प्रॉमिस एंड अंडर डिलीवर, आई थिंक दैट्स द की। एंड वो कोई भी पार्टी हो, कैनेडियंस हैव दोज वैल्यूज एंड एथिक्स इन देम, राइट? दैट सिस्टम एग्जिस्ट हियर इन कनाडा, तो वी हैव टू काइंड ऑफ मेक श्योर कि जो भी पार्टी आती है उसके अंदर ये वैल्यूज हों, और आई थिंक लिबरल पार्टी जो ओंटारियो लिबरल पार्टी है स्पेसिफिकली इस वक्त जो लीडरशिप एक कैंपेन चल रही है उसके अंदर जो कैंडिडेट हमें कम से कम जो हमारे साथ आउटरीच हुई उनकी और उनके साथ आप तरह सभी लोग जो हैं अच्छे लोग हैं, और सभी जो हैं लिबरल पार्टी के मेंबर्स भी हैं, और उनको हमें डेफिनेटली उनकी इमदाद भी करनी चाहिए जिस कैंप में भी हूँ हम। लेकिन हमारे नज़दीक क्योंकि स्टीवन डेल डूका इज़ द ग्रास रूट लेवल से वो उठ के आए हैं, उनसे हमारा इंटरेक्शन भी रहा है बहुत अरसे से, तो हमने मुनासिब समझा कि एक ऐसे कैंडिडेट के साथ जो कि एक सीजन कैंडिडेट हैं, जो कि डकफोर्ड को हरा सकते हैं, और जो कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी की इस वक्त मेजोरिटी है और जो लिबरल पार्टी की इस वक्त सिचुएशन है उसके अंदर, आई थिंक उसको रिवैम्प करने के लिए, रीबिल्ड करने के लिए यू नीड ए स्टेडी हैंड, यू नीड समबडी हुज गॉट एक्सपीरियंस एंड ही हैज़ गॉट वन। तो उसके हवाले से जो फेडरल इलेक्शन का रिजल्ट आया, जैसे आपने बात की, उसको देखते हुए ये बात हौसला अफजा है कि हमारे ओंटारियो के अंदर प्रैक्टिकली ओंटारियो वन द फेडरल इलेक्शन दिस टाइम फॉर फेडरल लिबरल पार्टी। तो ओंटारियो लिबरल का यहाँ जीतना जो है कोई अचंभे की बात नहीं होगी दोबारा से, क्योंकि इस वक्त जो पोल्स आ रहे हैं, जैसे आपने देखा है कि ओवर 30% जा रही है ओंटारियो लिबरल पार्टी, और 20s में हैं दोनों दूसरी पार्टीज कंजर्वेटिव और उसके बाद जो है NDP भी। तो NDP का वोट जैसे कि पिछली दफ़ा उनको थोड़ा सा जो लिबरल का वोट गया उसके बावजूद वो उसको कैपिटलाइज नहीं कर सके, तो इस दफ़ा वो वोट वापस आएगा, और उसके बाद जो है कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी के जो ओबियसली लोग जो हैं नाराज़ हैं पॉलिसीज़ के साथ, स्पेशली जो हेल्थ केयर में और रिसेंटली एजुकेशन के साथ सलूक हो रहा है इस प्रोविंस के अंदर, और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का भी जो कट्स हैं, तो उनको देखते हुए आई डू बिलीव इन दैट के लिबरल पार्टी हैज़ गॉट अ ग्रेट चांस। द ओनली थिंग इज़ व्हाट वी नीड टू मेक श्योर कि वी स्टैंड united, whosoever is the leader. Ultimately, we need to make sure that we make this a campaign which is a united front for Ontario Liberals to win this riding, plus also win other ridings, and to make a government which is not only just supportive in terms of like जो कि पॉलिसी के हवाले से, लेकिन हमारी कम्युनिटी के साथ भी जो हमारे कंसर्न्स हैं एथनिक कम्युनिटी के, पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटी के, मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी के, इसके अलावा जो दूसरी कम्युनिटीज़ भी हैं, चाहे सिख बरादरी आपने देखा सब लोग आए हुए थे, अहमदिया मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी के लोग भी थे, और सब लोगों का मैं शुक्रिया अदा करूँगा डॉक्टर राबिया की तरफ से, अपनी तरफ से, इनकी टीम की तरफ से, कि वो लोग आए, उन्होंने सपोर्ट किया, अपना हिस्सा डाला आज के इस इवेंट के अंदर, और इसी स्पिरिट के साथ इंशाअल्लाह ताला अगर वो फेडरल ये जो कंटेस्ट है लीडरशिप का, उसके अंदर मार्च 7 को जाके पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं, वोट डालते हैं राइट कैंडिडेट को, और उसके बाद यूनाइटेड फ्रंट के साथ जाते हैं डकफोर्ड की टीम के अगेंस्ट, तो कोई भी इसमें शक नहीं है कि इंशाअल्लाह ताला आई थिंक द लिबरल ओंटारियो लिबरल पार्टी विल बी फॉर्मिंग अ गवर्नमेंट, एंड मोस्ट लाइकली द स्टीवन डेल डूका when he wins, I would call it the leadership race, he will be the premier of Ontario, and his heart is in the right place. He's talking obviously what he can deliver, and I think inshallah ta'ala with that support our community is going to benefit, our riding is going to benefit, Ontario is going to benefit, and overall Canada is going to be a leader on the global front again.
थैंक यू। अच्छा डॉक्टर साहब, आप हमेशा रही इनके पीछे, आपने बड़ा एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिवली काम भी बहुत किया है, अभी कोई आपका भी सियासत में आने का, प्रोविंशियल सियासत में आने का कोई इम्कान है?
अर्शद भाई, मैं तो ऑलरेडी सियासत में हूँ मैं तो इनसे पहले सियासत में हूँ. मैंने जब कनाडा आई थी तो one thing I was interested in to learn the political system here. So actually it was my passion. I started actively in being involved in the political system here since 2008. And as you have seen, I supported the local councillor campaigns and also the जो provincial की हमारी 2014 की campaign थी. I have been involved in there for over 2 years. रहेंगे सियासत में इन्वॉल्व इंशाल्लाह और कम्युनिटी की खिदमत करते रहेंगे.
चलिए जी, विश यू वेरी गुड लक बोथ ऑफ यू. डॉक्टर राबिया अजीम और अजीम रिजवी साहब ने आज जो लिबरल के कैंडिडेट है इंटरव्यू के स्टीवन डुका के एजाज़ में एक रिसेप्शन का एहतमाम किया था मिल्टन में. खासी तादाद में लोग यहाँ पे मौजूद थे, काउंसलर्स मौजूद थे, कम्युनिटी के अहम अरकान मौजूद थे और उन्होंने स्टीवन डुका को अपनी हिमायत का यकीन दिलाया. फेडरली अजीम रिजवी साहब जो है बहुत एक्टिव रहे हैं और यहाँ से नॉमिनेशन भी एक दफ़ा मिल्टन से फेडरली जो है वो जीत चुके हैं. सियासत में उनका फॉर श्योर एक बड़ा किरदार है और डॉक्टर राबिया भी खासी इस हवाले से मुतहरिक रहती हैं. अब ये देखना है कि अगर बहुत सारे लोग जो हैं स्टीवन डुका को हमारी कम्युनिटी की जो सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, इसका एंड जो है रिजल्ट से वो क्या आता है. बज़ाहिर मेन कंटेंडर हैं इसके और उनके जीतने के स्टीवन डुका के खासे चांसेस हैं. कैमरामैन साबिर गाया के साथ अरशद भट्टी को दीजिए इजाज़त. अल्लाह हाफिज़ और सपोर्ट. वक्त और समझ एक साथ खुशकिस्मत लोगों को मिलते हैं क्योंकि अक्सर वक्त पर समझ नहीं होती और समझ आने तक वक्त नहीं रहता. जिंदगी का कोई मकसद बना लो, फिर सारी ताकत उसके हुसूल पर लगा दो तो तुम जरूर कामयाब हो जाओगे. गुनाह का मौका ना मिलना भी अल्लाह की नेमतों में से
Injuries not only impact you, but also people around you. Life is better than this. Let's get your life back. The injury lawyers at Alam Law will use their years of experience to handle your claim so that you can focus on your recovery. And remember, you don't pay until we win. Alam Law.
मस्जिद नूरुल हरम एक शानदार रूहानी तामीराती मंसूबा. माशाल्लाह वर्ल्ड इस्लामिक मिशन कनाडा खुशी से ऐलान करते हैं कि मस्जिद नूरुल हरम की तामीर का काम शुरू हो गया है. इस प्रोजेक्ट का डिजाइन और तफसीलात आप यूट्यूब पर मस्जिद नूरुल हरम ओकविल टाइप करके देख भी सकते हैं. इस शानदार रूहानी मरकज की तामीर में माली ताउन करके इसकी तकमील में हिस्सेदार बनिए. डोनेशंस के लिए कॉल करें 9052571342 या WIMCanada.com पे लॉग इन हो.
I help clients with their legal protection, but I haven't done any estate or tax-free retirement planning for myself.
With the recent changes, I wish I could minimize taxes and plan for a tax-free retirement income.
For over 18 years, Zahid Syed of Arush Financial has been giving business owners and professionals sound advice on tax reduction, life and health insurance, and estate planning strategies.
Act now. I can help.
या हो बेचना, कोई तजर्बाकार और ईमानदार रियल्टर हो देखना, तो रियल एस्टेट की फील्ड में आपका दोस्त, आपका रफीक, ताबिश तौफीक. For an honest and experienced realtor, please call Tabish Tawfiq of Remax Champions Realty Inc. 647-518-3000 or visit tabishhomes.com. 647-518-3000.